Good day, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Azure Databricks Series. Today, we are going to dive into creating delta tables from CSV files. We will walk through the process step by step, including how to create a new schema and set up tables within that schema. Let's get started. First, let's briefly discuss what delta tables are. Delta tables brings asset transaction to Apache Spark and big data workloads. It allows us to work with our data in a more reliable and efficient manner. Delta tables support features like versioning, schema enforcement, and time travel, which are crucial for data management in modern analytics. Before we begin, ensure that you have your clusters online. In my case, my clusters are online here. Yeah. We should also have access to a CSV file that we will convert into a delta table. If you don't have a sample CSV file, I recommend creating one or downloading sample data from the link I've provided in the description of this video. Let's go to this storage account. And if you see here, we have container called delta tables, and within that container we have this HDFC bank, yeah, and inside that I have this HDFC bank.csv. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a delta table called HDFC bank underscore delta using this CSV file, yeah. So now what I'm going to do, let's go to our notebook, which we will use to create this particular delta table. Yeah, so I'm going to create a schema called Jumbo. Yeah, so let's go ahead and create it. Okay, so it is created now. So I'm going to create a table called a tracker table inside that schema Jumbo. Okay, so let's create that one as well. Okay, so it's getting created. Okay, so the table is created. Now what we'll do is let's execute that, yeah, and then see if we can get the data across. You don't have any data, but let's see, at least we have something there, yeah. So we are getting a message like query return no results, but the table is there. Now what we'll do is let's go to the catalog explorer and then check for this jumbo schema, and if we can see that we have a table called tracker table inside that, yeah. So the data source is delta here, so it's a delta table that we have created. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to unmount this mnt slash delta tables just in case if it is mounted already. So I'm doing several demos, so there is high possibility this mount point would have been mounted before. So as I suspected, it is mounted. So I have unmounted it, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount this storage account, JBADB storage account, and the container name would be the delta tables, yeah. And I will mount it as slash mnt slash delta tables, yeah. Now provided the access key here, you can provide your access key as appropriate here, yeah. Let's go ahead and start it. Okay, so it's created now, yeah, and we can see that we have MNT delta tables, HDFC bank, table 2 and employee 3 folders are there. We will be having our CSV file within this HDFC bank folder, so we'll take it from there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the CSV file, that is MNT delta tables HDFC bank, HDFC bank.csv, yeah. And what I'll do is I will infer the schema, get the required information from this CSV file, and then I will load it as a delta table, yeah. So let's go ahead and create it, and the delta table will be saved in this location, mnt delta tables HDFC bank underscore delta, yeah. So if you look at it very clearly, we are getting the CSV file from this folder, and our delta table will be created on this particular folder, and we will be creating the table as schema jumbo dot HDFC bank underscore delta. Let's go ahead and execute it. Okay, so now if you see here, we tried creating this table, yeah, and what we found is like we got an error stating like found invalid characters among like we have a space, there could be a comma, semicolon, whatever it is, the column name of your schema, yeah, and invalid column names, data. There is seems to be a space after date, yeah. So this seems to be the problem here. So now what I've done is like I have removed this space on each of these columns. The CSV file has got a space on each of the headings. So what I'm doing is like I'm making sure like I'm changing those columns with a space with column with no space, yeah. And also like in case there are any not allowed characters like full stop, semicolon, whatever it is, I'm changing it everything here. Yeah. So for example, if you see here, we have prev dot space close. I'm changing it to prev underscore close. Likewise, I'm looking at each and every column and changing it accordingly. Yeah. So let's go ahead and run this query. And if you see here, this time the query is completed fine. We don't have any issues. Yeah. Just to ensure everything looks good, what we'll do is like we'll go ahead and execute this query here. And if you see here, we have the data in that particular table called HDFC bank underscore delta. So we were able to successfully take the data from the CSV file and load it into the delta table jumbo dot HDFC bank underscore delta. Um, go. Let's go to the catalog explorer here and then check if we have that table here. So if you see, if you can see here, HDFC bank underscore delta table is created, and we have these columns here. And if you look at the sample data, so these are the sample data here. If I look at the details here, you will be able to see that the location is MNT delta tables HDFC bank underscore delta. Yeah. And if you go to the history, you will have all the versions and things like that. It will maintain the versions. If you want to do time travel, you can do everything as required. Yep. So now, if you go to the overview again, you can see that the data source is delta, which ensures like we have created a delta table. Yeah. So now what we'll do is like we will, now that we have checked the data inside the table HDFC bank underscore delta, what we'll do is like we'll try deleting a value from here. Yeah. So if you go to the top, there is let's take this value 09 July 2024 and then let's try deleting that. Yeah. Let's go ahead and delete it. If you see here, we were able to delete it, and let's execute it one more time. And you can see here, 9 July 2024 is no longer there. Yeah. So since it is a delta table, not a external table, we were able to delete it. So you can use it as a normal table. You can perform all the queries like insert, update, delete, and you can also use the versions for the time travel since it is a delta table. To recap, we created a new schema, uploaded a CSV file, created a delta table from that CSV file and verified our results. Delta tables provides us with powerful features for managing our data effectively. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more Azure Databricks tutorials. Feel free to leave any questions or comments below. Thank you for watching and happy data processing. Jai Hind.